Good evening and a warm welcome to KTS. This is the Sentinel. I'm your host, Ngatish Hilary. And today in our studio, we have Dr. Wahome, a philosophy lecturer at Moi University. I will give her a chance to introduce herself so that we begin the conversation of today. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Ngetich. My name is Dr. Mary Nyawira Wahome. I'm the HOD, or Head of Department, Philosophy, Religion and Theology.
Okay, thank you. Welcome again. And today, our discussion will be about HIV/AIDS and development. And today, the first question I would like to ask Dr. Wahome. We know you are we are a scholar in philosophical studies, and we would like to know, maybe we know that diseases are an impediment to any development in any country. It could be Kenya, could be the United States, anywhere. So as a philosophical lecturer, what is your take on the effects of HIV to development in Kenya?
Thank you very much. HIV and AIDS.
Yeah, HIV and AIDS
is a global problem.
Yeah.
It's a disease that affects, the whole of the world.
Yeah.
If we are to talk about Kenya, HIV/AIDS mostly affects people who are of productive age.
Okay.
Yeah.
That could be between age 18 and above?
Yeah, 18 and above, up to about 60 years, I should think.
Yeah.
And you know that these are productive people.
Yeah.
Beginning from those who are 18 and up to around 25, these are people who are still in school.
Yeah.
Now, if they are affected with this disease, you can see the effect it will have on the society, because these are people who are in school. They will not be able to finish their studies because of the nature of the disease.
Yeah.
It affects one psychologically, physically, and the whole outlook of an individual. And then for those who are working, of course, the economic effects are great.
Yeah.
For example, in terms of productivity, when one is sick, one may not be able to, go to work and work productively. And also, where one is working, whether in the government or in the private sector, one will have to be given time off to do other things. I mean, because one is not able to to go to work throughout because of the nature of the disease. So the company or the person's place of work will have to even spend a lot of money in treating this individual. So you can see that the effects of this disease is so grievous.
Yeah.
And also, like in the university, for us professionals, the government has spent a lot of money in training us up to how far we have gone.
Yeah.
A lot of money has been spent on us, and if one is affected with this disease, that means that
the
person
that has been used to
down the drain.
Yeah.
So it's a grievous disease, and
So you agree that it has an effect on development?
Yes, it does.
And you have also talked about something psychological.
Yeah.
Don't you think that maybe the introduction of psychologists and all that might help at some point, maybe to enable someone maybe to deal with the disease?
I think like in Moi University, we have psychologists, especially to take care of the students. In case they have some psychological problems like stress, they can always go to the counselors. I think it's also time even the university introduced the services, or brought the services of psychiatrists to take care of the staff who are working,
and who are also affected
who are also infected and also affected. It affects all of us, so we need the services of psychiatrists to take care of us,
because we also know that it is a lifelong disease.
Yes,
it's not something maybe
it affects even the self-esteem of an individual.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So it has an effect on development in Kenya specifically. Now, because we're talking about HIV, it's also important that we bring in the issue of rape. We have had, even in Moi University, cases of rape cases. We have also been, even the media has been rife with cases of rape. A few days ago, or even weeks ago, we heard about the case, rape case by an MP. And I would like to bring you to this question. Rape cases in Kenya, it has become a setback to the reduction of the spread of HIV and AIDS. Bearing in mind all these happenings we have all, maybe you have witnessed, we have heard about, do you think we can cope with this vice?
When you talk about coping,
Yeah.
I really don't know what you mean by coping with this. First and foremost, rape is a form of violence.
Yes, violence.
Yeah, it's a violation on an individual.
Yeah.
So this is something which is also criminal. It's a criminal thing.
Yes.
So yeah, so this should be punished. It should be condemned in the strongest terms possible, and especially when it is done by somebody who is in high standing in the society. It even makes it worse. Yeah. So rape is very grievous, and it should be condemned. And the perpetrators of this criminal offense should be punished. They should face the full force of the law.
Yeah, the way the law gives someone punishment a very long stretch, that has always been the case. But now, when we're talking about this issue of reduction of spread of HIV, don't you think rape cases have also played a part in maybe making the disease more spread?
Yeah. One of the effects of rape could result in infection of HIV.
Yeah.
Because if the perpetrator has it or the victim has it, there's likelihood of it spreading. So it's really has a grievous effect on the victim and the perpetrators. So
yeah, we are talking about rape cases, and let me bring you to another perspective of the question. Recently, there was an issue in Nairobi where there was a lady who was stripped naked, and I want to bring out the issue of my dress, my choice. Do you think it contributes to rape, like the way we dress? Does it provoke someone maybe to want to do something he or she didn't want really at the beginning to do?
Okay, the issue of my dress, my choice. Yeah. The way a lady dresses should not attract rape or even, any kind of punishment.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So the way somebody dresses it's not an invitation to rape or any other kind of violence.
Okay.
So this is just an excuse. Those people who perpetrated that, those who are trying to, strip the lady naked, I think they were very idle. They didn't have anything to do. They were just looking for something to, But the fact that the lady seemed to have dressed in a way they did not like, that is what made her to be. But she's not the person who, should be blamed for whatever took place.
Okay, most of us are really religious. Let me use myself as an example. Maybe I'm a religious person. I go to church, and we hear, even the Bible maybe teaches us that maybe we should dress decently, or there are some sermons about the way we should present ourselves, the way we carry ourselves. And sometimes they say that if you don't carry yourself properly, you will attract negative attention. That's why I'm saying we as human beings, we have hormones, we have things that make us really want to do things that our bodies crave. So that's why I'm saying, men, like, we are attracted by what we see. So when you see something and maybe you cannot control, you want to do something, you find yourself, and maybe the lady is in a very isolated place, so it triggers. And we have had psychiatrists saying there are some people who are driven by the desire, they cannot control it. So what do you think? Do you think we can also do something as ladies? You can also do something about this dressing? Okay,
from the point of view of religion,
we
know that human beings were created by God in His image, and God also endowed human beings with, rationality. Okay, so if we begin from there, that human beings are rational, then all our actions should be guided by rationality. Okay?
Yes.
So the perpetrators who who do this, or who commit these crimes of undressing ladies or raping them, they are not using their rationality. They are not behaving like human beings. They are behaving like beasts. And God has given us choices to choose the what action to perform. So whether we it's up to us. We have the freedom to do good or to do bad. So when a man decides to undress a lady, it shows that that man is not using his freedom properly. And also the ladies, when they dress, we have freedom to dress the way we want, despite the fact that okay, people can say that one is dressing indecently, but whose standards are we
You are trying to say morality is a contentious, which is debatable.
I don't see any morality, when it comes to choosing how one dresses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now you have talked about rationality. Yeah. Do you think it's also an issue with the ladies? Do you think it is rational to wear something so small a tailor, maybe, I don't know, maybe cut the dress, I don't know, maybe, do you think it's also rational for them to wear so much revealing clothes? Is it rational in your part?
It depends on what makes one feel happy.
Okay.
If I dress, in a short dress and that makes me happy,
then it's okay.
That's okay.
It does not matter what any other person thinks.
That is secondary.
Okay.
But I think the individual who is choosing how to dress is the person we should be concerned with, not other people.
Okay.
Yeah, my happiness first, then other people. Secondary. Yeah.
Okay, that's your opinion.
That's my opinion. It's not a general.
I don't want to say it's a general opinion. But now this issue of rape cases, maybe what should be done in order to curb, apart from the punishment, which maybe cannot reach even the people who are who do it in darkness? Because we know for a person to be punished by law, it has to come out. Maybe the lady has to report him or something. What about stigma? Now that the lady has been raped, she can't go to. She's afraid. Maybe. How do you think? Is there any other way?
I think first of all we have to find out what are the causes of rape.
Okay.
Probably some of these rape cases, as a result of the person who is perpetrating this crime could be under influence of drugs or whatever. Maybe they are not maybe one may not be in their right mind when they are doing this. So before we look for solutions on what to do, we need first of all to address the causes. And then there is also the need for creation of awareness to the whole society about what rape is about, what are the possible causes, and then from there we can address
the issue.
Yeah, we can look for solutions after we have found the causes. Because if one is under the influence of alcohol, then we create awareness that probably some of the effects of taking drugs or alcohol would be this.
Okay. Viewers, if you have just joined us, we are with Dr. Wahome and we are discussing about HIV and development, HIV, AIDS and development, how this affects one another, how HIV vis-a-vis development, how is it in Kenya.
Welcome to The Sentinel. This is an interactive show where we engage experts and professionals about past events, current affairs, and emerging issues in a view to update and give you insights in politics, social issues, and economic development. Our panel of experts informs, educates, and entertains you while ensuring you get to know the truth as it is. Be sure to join us every Monday at 8:30 p.m. only on KTS. The Sentinel, guarding the truth.
So we are still on the topic HIV and development, and right now we have had issues where teenage pregnancy. The teenage pregnancy has been an issue that has been in the media for so long. There's so much about it written about it, and I would like, because we're talking about HIV, we know pregnancy comes from people who have had sex without any protection, and we know HIV/AIDS are also spread through the same way. So I would like to ask you, Dr. Home, the rise in teenage pregnancy it really raises alarm, and because we know teenagers, for them to be pregnant, they don't use contraceptives. So the question comes, how do we cope with the spread of HIV among teenagers? Do you think the government is also doing enough to reduce the spread of HIV and AIDS?
First and foremost, it is true that HIV AIDS is also affecting the teenagers, and maybe there's a result of it could be as a result of irresponsible sex, and this irresponsible sex can also have other effects such as teenage pregnancy. I think our role as a society is to educate these young people against involving themselves in sexual activity before they get married. The emphasis should be that sex is reserved for the married people. So they should wait. We know that they are growing. We know if they have these urges and all that. But maybe some people may think of introducing contraceptives to these young people. But in my own opinion, that should never happen. What we should do is to educate these young people. Let's talk to them as family members, as the church, as at schools, or social institutions. It is our responsibility to talk to the young people. But the issue of assessing them, these contraceptives, whether they are condoms or whatever, that one I do not support.
Okay, Dr. Home, we have read in the media, we have seen statistics that have shown that teenage pregnancy is on the rise, and because teenage pregnancy is on the rise, this means that teenagers are having sex without protection, which also can lead to HIV and AIDS. So my question is, how do we cope with this spread of HIV, with this teenage pregnancy? What should we do in order to stop this kind of sexual activity, in order to prevent HIV and AIDS spread?
I'll start with the family. It's the role of families, the parents especially, to create awareness to their children about the phenomenon of HIV/AIDS and teenage pregnancy, or the whole drama about sex. The parents should not shy away from talking to their children about sex. They should not leave everything to teachers. So first and foremost, the family has a role to play in educating their children on sex matters. From there, then, when they go to school, the teachers also have a responsibility also to teach on issues concerning sex. So sex education somehow should be introduced in schools. Wherever these children go, whether in church or wherever, in madrasa or wherever, the religion has a role to play also to educate children about sex and its effects.
So now we know issues of sex will have to do with cultures, taboos and all. So also the society has to play a role in making sure that this thing should not be, the barrier of culture should not come in.
Okay.
Okay. Now we've talked about that. There is also a statistic that 220,000 girls under age 18 also get pregnant every day in developing countries. And because we're talking about HIV, AIDS, and development, we know that these kind of issues of sex-related issues can lead to HIV and also hinder development. What should the government do? Do you think the government has a role to play in this?
Okay, now we keep on taking everything to the government. But who is the government? All of us, we are part and parcel of the government. Because if a teenager gets pregnant, I'm wondering where does the government come in? So I'm going back to the bringing up of these children. The family level, school level, and also other social institutions like churches. And but maybe the government will come in as far as sex education is concerned in school. Implementing. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Home. We'll go for a break now shortly, and when we come back, we'll be talking about wife inheritance and FGM in relation to HIV/AIDS spread and development. So stay tuned. Welcome back, the Sentinel. I'm still with Dr. Wahome, and the last question we're going to discuss today is about wife inheritance and FGM. We know that in some parts of the country, wife inheritance is still practiced, and also FGM is also still practiced. We know these practices lead to HIV spread. So I would like to ask Dr. Wahome, what is your take on this issue of wife inheritance and FGM?
Thank you. These are cultural practices. There's some of our communities that still do practice these cultural whatever. Like wife inheritance has been there since time immemorial. In many communities, actually, not just we may think it's only in Western.
Okay.
But even in Central, wife inheritance was practiced.
Okay.
Sometimes back. And I think the practice is still there. Wife inheritance, in my view, is not necessarily a bad thing.
Okay.
Because this is a practice that was put up by these cultures for a purpose. That is to take care of the wife of a person who has
the wife and property.
Died, and the children, property. So the people who were inheriting these people, they were doing so not necessarily for sexual practices, but for maybe taking care of the property.
Continuity of the family.
Of the family. Okay, to some extent, it may lead to HIV and AIDS and other sexual diseases.
Okay.
To some extent, but not we cannot say that it leads to HIV. It needs not.
Okay. Because
still, with education, if there is creation of awareness about what HIV is all about, then people can protect themselves against getting this HIV/AIDS.
Okay.
You can inherit, but at the same time, you can protect the wife and the whole family.
Okay.
Yeah. So it is not necessarily a sexual. It's not necessarily about sexual activities.
Okay.
And as far as FGM is concerned, this is a practice that is deep rooted in some cultures. It's still being practiced today, and it's not very easy to get rid of these practices, not unless we put alternatives to it.
And on that note, we come to the end of the Sentinel. Be sure to catch us next week for our next episode. Thanks for watching. I've been your host,